भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यास ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैस्तिकी। श्रीमद्भागवतम कैंटो 10 चैप्टर 11 chapter titled Childhood Pastimes of Krishna, text number 18. Dhuli Dusarita Anga Tvam Putra Majjanam Avaha जन्मऋक्षं ते अध्या भवति विप्रेभ्या देहि घा सूचि। धूलिदुसरितांगस्त्वं पुत्रमार्जनमावह जन्मक्षं तेद्य भवति विप्रेभ्यो देहिगा शुचि। धूलिदूसरितंगस्त्वं पुत्रमार्जनमावह जन्मक्षं तेद्य भवति विप्रेभ्यो देहिगा शुचि। धूलिदूसरितंगस्त्वं पुत्रमार्जनमावह जन्मक्षं तेद्य भवति विप्रेभ्यो देहिगा शुचि। With dust and sand all over your body. Putra, my dear son, Majjanam Avaha, now come here, take your bath and cleanse yourself. Janmaksham, the auspicious star of your birth, Te, of you, Adhya, today, Bhavati, it is, Viprabhya, onto the pure Brahmanas, Dehi, give in charity. Ga, cows. Shuchi, being purified. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Mother Yashoda further told Krishna, "My dear son, because of playing all day, your body has become covered with dust and sand. Therefore, come back, take your bath, and cleanse yourself. Today, the moon is conjoined with the auspicious star of your birth. Therefore, be pure to the Brahmanas." Purport: it is a custom of Vedic culture that whenever there is any auspicious ceremony, one should give valuable cows in charity to the Brahmanas. Therefore, Mother Yashoda requested Krishna, "Instead of being enthusiastic in playing, now please come and be enthusiastic in charity." Yajna dhana tapa karma na tyajyam karyam eva tat, as advised in Bhagavad Gita 18.5, sacrifice, charity and austerity should never be given up. Yagnodhanam tapaschaiva pavanani manisinam. Even if one is very much advanced in spiritual life, one should not give up these three duties. To observe one's birthday ceremony, one should do something in terms of one of these three items: yajna, dhana or tapa, or all of them together. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya Namahom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamine iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuya Evacha Padidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mother Yashoda further told Krishna, "My dear son, because of playing all day, your body has become covered with dust and sand. Therefore, come back, take your bath and cleanse yourself. Today the moon is conjoined with the auspicious star of your birth. Therefore be pure and give cows in charity to the Brahmanas." So in this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, childhood pastimes of Krishna, the Supreme Lord, when he appears in this world as a child, so he also acts like a child. When he appears like a human being, he also acts like a human being. So if you don't have proper knowledge, then it will appear very ordinary. Just like what we have been hearing for last few days in this chapter, how Krishna has been acting as ordinary child, very much absorbed in playing, and mother is trying to get him back for taking his meals. But the difference here is, of course, it is Krishna. Even if he is as a small child, he is still that same supreme, all-powerful. But because of intense affection and love of Yashoda, Yashoda could not see that it is Supreme Lord, but it is her child who is completely dependent on her. And if she doesn't take care of him, he will fall sick or he may die. So this is what is the feeling of mothers. By nature, we all are seekers of pleasure. We all like to seek pleasure, every one of us here. Even at the level of soul, we are seekers of pleasure. So what to speak when we are in this body? So in this body, we are seeking pleasure. The example is given that the ant is seeking pleasure in looking out for a grain of sugar, and it works very hard. But the nature of moth is different. His way of seeking pleasure is he wants to be very close to the light. But there are some people who like to take pleasure in acquiring wealth, power, prestige. And there are some people whose nature is to causing cruelty to others. They take pleasure in that. But at the same time, there are some people who take pleasure in getting worshipped, by becoming famous. But a mother takes pleasure in just giving pleasure to her child, or giving everything to her child. Just giving. Of course, the child in return is not giving. The mother is just giving. So this is the nature of love. Of course, here in this verse, last few verses were sounding, one sense, if you don't notice, it is something very ordinary, mundane. But here, Mother Yashoda is also trying to connect it to something higher. That's what is Vedic culture. Connect it to something divine, that she is calling out a child that now it's enough, you should now clean up your body, it's full of dust, and you should give charity, because today is a very auspicious day. Now in relation to Krishna, everything is auspicious, there is nothing like inauspicious. But this is Yashoda, Mai's love. I remember once when I was making an attempt to talk to one mother. Now this mother said that, for me my children are like God. I don't want to go to temple. I don't think there is any need for me to do anything. I just look after my children. I take care of them. She was getting that mellow, that rasa in just taking care of her children. But unfortunately, the mellow, the rasa in material existence never remains the same. So in the Hindi they say, जो मीठा होती है शुरुआत में वो फिर कड़वी हो जाती है. That's in all material relationship if it is not connected to Krishna. Huh? Sometimes we have to give examples because things which are very familiar. For example, TV. TV acts as far as it is connected. But as soon as there is no connection, it goes blank. When there is blank, there is nothing. So similarly in all relationship, as far as there is connection is there is a rasa there. Otherwise, we see that in this age, this is something very common which was not heard of in Vedic culture, that in family life, there was a time there was joint family. But then there was something joint. There was someone relating to one person. He may be the grandfather and everything was centered around him. But as lot of materialistic progress, materialism became rampant, to when there is so much of materialism. Materialism means possession of things, comforts, mine, what gives me pleasure. So when then started, naturally these qualities started coming in the heart. So my relationship is still I got pleasure from you. The day I don't get pleasure from you, the relationship goes. So slowly the joint family disintegrated into nuclear families. So what to speak about nuclear families? Are nuclear families stable? Again the principle is same. The relationship, it is based on you are mine and you are for me, you belong to me. It's just a question of time that same relationship which was giving pleasure ends in frustration. So this is a basic principle, that how we say that, how material existence without real auspiciousness is all inauspicious. That is why there is a saying that His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj says that anything inauspicious in this world, if it takes you closer to Krishna, that becomes very auspicious. And a material point of view, everything very auspicious. But if it is taking you away from Krishna, that is very inauspicious. Now this is, in the material world, this is still very relative. Auspiciousness, inauspiciousness. There is a very nice thing I heard from His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj. Once he said about how Akbar and Birbal, humanity, of course, very nice, inspiring. So Birbal was emperor, Akbar was emperor. So one day, as usual, he got up in the morning, and this was his practice, that he will go out, open the window and just look out. So that day when he opened the window and he looked out, he saw there was a dhobi there washing his clothes. So when the dhobi washing his clothes, he saw the emperor has opened his window. So he looked up at the emperor. And the emperor looked at the dhobi. And he did like this. And of course the emperor also in his own way just acknowledged this. And then he turned around, and as soon as he turned around, he banged his head. So he forgot. But he got a cut. Then as usual he used to go for his walk. So he went for his walk in the garden. He was stung by a bee. So he got a swelling. Second thing. Third thing, he came back. As he was entering his room, he tripped over and broke his leg. My God, this is so inauspicious today. What is happening? So his ministers came. Maharaj, what is happening? What is this? Why this? You got a cut here, you got a swelling here, broke your leg. Tell me what happened. So he said, nothing, I don't know. Just remember, maybe something. What happened in the morning first thing today? As usual I went, but think about it, maybe. Oh yes, today I saw the face of the dhobi. Oh. So the dhobi is the cause of all this inauspiciousness. Immediately the ministers, they went and arrested the dhobi, and the strange thing was they declared that you should be sentenced to death because he caused so harm. So as usual, Birbal is always there. So Birbal came and asked the emperor. His emperor, he said, you saw his face and you got a cut and you got stung by bee and you broke your leg. And he saw your face first thing in the morning and he sentenced to death. So who is more inauspicious? So as soon as Akbar heard this, he said, yes, yes, yes. So the point is, in this world, all auspiciousness, inauspiciousness is very relative. But in connection with Krishna, everything becomes auspicious. As it is said here, Suchi. So this is one verse we chant when there is initiation. Om apavitra pavitroa sarva avastam gotopi yasmaret pundarikaksham sabhaya abhyantara suchi. Whatever circumstances in your life you have passed through, it may be very inauspicious, but just remembrance of Krishna, just remembrance. Everything from internally and externally, it becomes auspicious. So that is real auspiciousness. But here, of course, Mother Yashoda is bringing out this culture of how her mother, it is said that it happens, it was not his birthday, but this is how birthdays or any samskaras, even for that sake, Vivaha samskara, the whole purpose of samskaras is to make everything auspicious, bring everyone closer to Krishna. In Kali Yuga, we have become so cluttered in our thoughts, we don't even know that, we can't even think properly, what to think. So many things are there around, so much caught up with so many things, can't even think. Now, real Vedic culture is, you should know that what are you doing? How are you doing? And why are you doing? It should be very clear. But when you are caught up, you are just like a mechanical, just a robo. Why are you working? Pet ke liye. Most of the things, how can I live without? But beyond that, you can't think because there is so many other thoughts. But Vedic culture, it takes you the mode of goodness if it is properly followed. And in that state, clear understanding about the purpose of life, what should be done. That's why it is said that goodness is what attracts Krishna. It's very difficult in the mode of ignorance and passion to preach someone. So in the purport, Prabhupada also it is said that one should not give up. One should not give up these three things. One is yajna, dana and tapas. I just remember just about auspiciousness, how it is, how do you see it, auspicious. One time we were with Maharaj, so we wanted to decide when this festival should be there, one date of festival. So maybe this day, maybe Narsingha Chaturdashi, maybe Sharad Purnima, this is auspicious date. So he very casually asked, can you find out which was the day when Prabhupada had told his wife, tea or me? I mean, we were stunned. I mean, what? Of course, you don't know when was the day. But if you look back, one point inauspicious, but that was the most auspicious day. Because that is the time he decided, finish, out. And if he had not gone out, what would have happened? So tea or me, one sense, what happened was the most auspicious day. I don't know. Do you know the date? It's not. So this is what exactly auspicious, inauspicious in this world is seen as. But anyway, coming back to this point of that, these three things, never ever you should give up. No one, whoever is, whether you are just, a person just been, of course now there is no question about any culture, but even if in the beginning of Krishna consciousness you come, but three things you should never give up, which is also been endorsed here in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is telling that even a person who is very saintly, it purifies him also. That means never is a time that there is no scope for this. And what are these three things? One is yajna, sacrifice, another is charity, that is dhanam, and another third is tapas. So what does it mean for us? What does yajna mean? How do we see? Yajna means how to be always connected to that divine power, how to be dependent on that power. That means always praying, chanting, or serving, or whatever way, but always constantly, I am dependent. Actually, we are very insignificant, but we have forgotten that we are very insignificant. There is very nice thing about Prabhupada, that once Prabhupada met someone in London, and of course they exchanged, and after a few months, Prabhupada met the same person in Bombay. So this person is saying, "Oh Swamiji, this world is so small." But Prabhupada said, "It's insignificant." So insignificant, Prabhupada is talking about the whole world is insignificant. So what to speak about one tiny, living entity, jiva. But the degree, understand how insignificant, to that degree, you can seek that. So that is what is yajna. Or hearing about the Lord, talking about His glories. This never should you give up. And the second is charity. Now charity, everyone has to do charity. But then, what about brahmacharis? Because usually we see that charity means money. Grahasthas earn and then they give. But brahmacharis don't earn. But in the renounced order, they do charity after they receive. And what do they do? Charity is transcendental knowledge. That is charity, freely given. But for those who are earning, now why this charity is done? How does that? Because charity is a means where you can express your devotion. Again, you are getting connected to Krishna. It also makes a person detached. It also purifies someone from all sinful reactions. It also makes one humble. But then there is in English faith, it is said that real charity is when it really hurts. So it's very easy to speak that, I am giving charity, I do this, I do that. But real charity is when there is some real pain. So this is one charity part, and then the third thing is tapasya. Tapasya means, in our context, it is following four regulatory principles itself is a big tapasya. So these things should never be given up in all stages of life. So as far as charity is concerned, it's very easy to speak that, I'm giving. But then in Srimad Bhagavatam, we have one very nice story about one king. That what is exactly, how does real charity, as it is said in Bhagavad Gita, charity is also a different modes. Charity in the mode of goodness, you do it as a duty. Just as a duty it is done. But charity in the mode of passion, there is always some motive behind it. And charity in the mode of ignorance, you don't even know what is going to, it may be degrading that person by your charity. What to speak about yourself. So charity in the mode of goodness, at least in the sense of duty, but the best charity is when you give something, you are also thinking about how it can cause welfare of this person. And what is the real welfare? How it can lift up his consciousness. So in this context it is said, So that's naturally people who are very busy in earning money and all, they don't have time to preach or engage people. So when they give their money to Brahmanas, like it is said here, Krishna is saying, give cows to Brahmanas. Because Brahmanas are the one who are giving directly transcendental knowledge, they are lifting up people's consciousness. So this person who is giving money, who has no time for preaching, otherwise so caught up in family life, he also gets connected to that preaching mission. So this is the glory of charity, which is transcendental, not just as a duty. That is goodness, that's good, no doubt. So this king, how you understand that charity is not so difficult, but when you are at risk of your life, you have to go to inconvenience. That time your real quality of your consciousness will be tested, will come out. I mean, we have to ask ourselves that what is the state of my consciousness? When you are confronted, we really understand who I am. So this king is very interesting. I know it's a very familiar one. He happened to be a king. But his all activities were the welfare of others. His actions, even every breath he used to take is for the welfare of others. Just imagine. And he, because he was nicely placed, connected, is pure-hearted, so his family members would also cooperate in whatever he does. They would not criticize him. They would not complain. So he decided once that he will fast for 48 days. No food, no water. And this he was doing it far away from the kingdom. This was in an isolated place. And when the 48th day came, so from the palace he got water and succulent food, stuff made in ghee and milk. So just see his consciousness. As soon as it is brought, he immediately thought about Krishna. He offered it to Krishna. So that means pleasure of Krishna overrules all his desire for sense gratification. What must be the degree of his senses? He was just trembling, 48 days, no food, no water, and all this he was doing for the welfare of his subjects. And here is the time it has come, because he had this knowledge that Krishna is the root of all existence. If I nourish the root, then all the things coming out from the root will get nourished. So in this mood he was offering it, and then he sat down with his family members to take prasad. So when he was about to honor prasad, at his doorstep a Brahmana comes. Now as soon as he sees the Brahmana, now this is not that he had to pretend himself. Even in that state, he saw the Brahmana, he became joyful. He said, oh, look at this, my Lord is so kind, he has given me one more opportunity. And this Brahmana is asking for some alms. Oh dear king, please, give me some alms. So he took some portion of that meal. He made him comfortable, and to his full satisfaction he fed him. The Brahmana went away satisfied. Then again he sat down. And this time when he sat down, a low caste person came. A very low caste man. In the Vedic, social point of view, not a very, important person. But then when he saw him, he had the same joy when the way he saw Brahmana. Oh, this is one more opportunity, my Lord. And here he is hungry and thirsty. And in that state, he made him sit down. He gave him another portion of his food. So when he was fully satisfied, he said, let us now sit down. And this time, of course, he had divided his portion to the family members. Now, what was left was some food and some water. So this time, there's one more person came. He was about to take. So this was a very stranger. No, he came with a pack of dogs, and he said, "My dogs, and they are very thirsty and hungry. My dear king, please." So he gave that. Again he sat down, and this time he had only water in his hand, and he was really trembling now. It was question of life and death. And that is the time a Chandala comes. A Chandala means very low, down, those who they have no culture at all. And he is asking, "Dear king, please, give me some water." And that is the time Maharaj Ranti Dev becomes very introspective with his water in his hand. He starts thinking, "My Lord," imagine in that state he is praying now. He has time for prayers. Now this is to just bring out that what is the state of consciousness? A person who is doing real charity. It's a very extreme. We can't. But the essence is that it really matters that what is your intention, what is your quality. That is what pleases Krishna. So he is praying to the Lord that, "O Supreme Lord, the origin of this whole universe, the origin of all the beauty, everything, the maintainer. Please, let me be always with people who are suffering. Let me suffer so that I can relieve people's suffering." This is his feeling, and in these feelings, obviously, he was joyful. But materially, he was really trembling. And he gave that water, and he collapsed. So that is the time all those people who had come as Brahmana and Shudra and that stranger with dogs and a Chandala, they came as Brahma, Shiva and all other demigods. They said to him that we wanted to just test your consciousness. You're giving charity. So now we want to give a benediction. So what benediction he'll ask? So he's asking for benediction. They wanted to give him anything he wanted. He said, "I don't want any liberation. I don't want all these Ashta Siddhis, and I don't want any elevation to higher planets." He is saying, "Let me always be connected." Again that same thing. Remember, connected to that Supreme Lord. Let me always remember. So this is the state of consciousness. So in one sense we may feel that, how is that, because how did he see like that, When the Shudra came, he said, "Oh, what is the use of giving charity to Shudra, It is not going to help me. I should be giving it to Brahmana, So when the Brahmana came, he could not, "Oh, Brahmana, come on, Brahmana, you can find charity anywhere. Why you have to take from me only, See, I am just breaking the fast." But he had that vision, same for everyone. Equipoised vision. So this is what is a real state of consciousness where everything is seen in connection with Krishna. This is divine vision. So that is real charity. So this was Ranti Dev. So Ranti Dev is in Srimad Bhagavatam, and this is how he teached us. By charity, unless it really hurts, unless it really pinches. So it is said in Shastras that, what is that? What is it? Jiver arther diya vacha. Jiver means life. Your own life. Obviously, who can give life? Life is so dear. But what comes next? Arther. So that means money is very close to life. It's not so easy to give up. Arther. I said, no, I can't. Okay, at least give your intelligence, diya. If you can't give diya, then give your words. But give. Give, it is said. That is how in this verse it is the mother always gives. It is said that if you want to know what type of mothers are there in the society, you just go and talk to the children. You just go and talk to the children and see what type of children are there, you know what type of mothers are there. Because all the culture, they come from mother. Because that doesn't mean that fathers don't have any role. Father sees that, he sees happiness in, his family is prospering, he's working hard. But a mother plays a very important role. But in modern civilization, mother, to say that I am a mother, is not very respectful. Especially in the Western world, to say that I am a mother. To say that I am a so and so professional. But truth is that in society, just like you need brahmanas, you need accountants, lawyers, you need doctors, you need all type of people. Actually, in the society, you also need mothers. If you don't have mothers, the society. So this is a very divine profession, not paying at all. There is no payment. It's pure giving love. But how much does it affect the society? This is what happened when Prabhupada went first time to the Western world. So when we think about Ranti Dev, we cannot forget Prabhupada. In the modern history, you see that Prabhupada did the same thing. These three things, Yajna, Dana and Tapa. About his Yajna, we know that his prayers, how he used to pray about that. He was in total dependent, total dependent. He said, I am like a puppet. Please my Lord, why have you brought me here? So when he went there, actually he was like a father and mother for everyone, because they didn't even have, many of them, they left their house, they didn't know what is mother's love, what to speak about father, there is no home, there is no family. I don't know what family you can say. It goes beyond nuclear family or scattered family, dispersed family, no family, no stability, no family life. And when they came in contact with Prabhupada, now see the role of mother and father. So Prabhupada represented that love. Many of Prabhupada's disciples, even now they speak about it. We don't know. But first time we felt, is this love? And they felt it. And they had not experienced that in their life. Their parents had given them all material things. That was the day the economic development was booming like this. Everything they provided, but there was complete lack, not satisfied at all. And Prabhupada satisfied them. Why? Because Prabhupada was an instrument of Krishna's love. And he was keeping them connected. So this is how the changes happened. And Prabhupada, of course, that is why it is said that, and as far as tapasya is concerned, yesterday was a very auspicious day. Yesterday was the day Prabhupada boarded Jaladuta so many years. What an auspicious day. He carried Vedic culture in his trunk and himself in his heart. Imagine to go and transplant Vedic culture in a place where there is no culture. It should have been rejected. No question about anyone accepting it. So alien culture. Prabhupada was successful. That is why when he returned, many times these businessmen from Calcutta, they would ask, Swamiji, क्या किया आपने? अरे मैंने तो सिर्फ भगवान का नाम जाप करा, ऐसे हो ही नहीं सकता स्वामी, आपने कुछ किया है? अरे क्या किया मैंने तो सिर्फ हरिनाम दिया उनको मैंने. So Prabhupada's faith in holy name and his instructions in his spiritual master, that you should go and preach. So this is why it is said that Prabhupada, he made a house where everyone can stay. Imagine in one house, it's not an easy thing to stay. We hear it's so difficult, everyone's desires. But when it is connected to Krishna, all your desires get resolved. Now this only those who are experiencing, they can say that. Otherwise it's a conflict going on. But aspiring, having hopes that this is the process, you just follow, you just continue. And I'm sure there is result. So this is how Prabhupada's, in the history, that what Prabhupada He resolved, one sense, all problems if the world is willing to accept it, especially relationship problems. So he said, I made a home. He said, I made a house, right? He made a house where the whole world can stay. How can a whole world stay? Impossible, right? But we can understand, yes, you can. Otherwise, how is it possible that his disciples, who were connected to him, why would they go to a place like Thailand? Why would they go to a place like China? What connection you have? What relationship you have? Unless you see that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna and everyone needs this charity. This is how they are willing to go through all inconvenience. This is how Prabhupada's mission is being taken forward. It is going on, and holy name is the one which is all auspicious. Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigra Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatva Nama Nami. So when in the beginning we said Om Apavitra, and here he said Abhinnatva Nama Nami. Just imagine, it's just a question of faith. The holy name Abhinnatva. As soon as you chant, connected to Krishna, all auspicious. Immediately it has to act. So Prabhupada didn't make any discrimination. When he distributed to everyone, the way Ranti Dev distributed. He never saw there is a Brahmana is this, because he was seeing in connection with Krishna that everyone is equal. This was the greatness of Prabhupada. So nothing inauspicious. Once Prabhupada was walking in New York, Manhattan, and they had to go through some bylane, and it was a very filthy place. And all the rats and garbage and all. So his disciples were apologetic. Prabhupada, we are very sorry, we had to take you from this place. What's wrong with this place? This is Vaikuntha. How can you see Vaikuntha there? Because his vision was like that. At the same time, once he was in New Zealand, and New Zealand. New Zealand is very popular, famous, especially Bollywood. They go for shooting there because the best landscape. So imagine Prabhupada driving in the car, is seeing young, beautiful, handsome, dressed, nice food, beautiful surrounding, and he's just watching, looking at them, and there's tears in his eyes. So materially very auspicious, but he's saying they are just wasting their life. Everything is temporary here. How long it is going to last? And they'll be deprived of this human opportunity. So this is how Prabhupada, in this connection of this verse where it is said that birthdays, how it should be celebrated. Mothers, family members, real well-wishers of their children. It is not just like that lady who said that, oh, my children, they are like God to me. That is just pampering. It's just spoiling the child. And I am sure, if I meet her, I am sure about it that I don't think, it was many years back, but I don't think that she has the same thing to say about her children. They are married now. I don't think she'll say, they are like God. I will just worship them. I don't have to go to the temple. So this is real charity is what in this context we can understand that how sacrifice, charity and austerity should never be given up, as it is said in Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday was a very auspicious day for us to remember, and about Prabhupada's contribution to this world, how he carried this Vedic culture, and he was so successful, and it has been carried forward. This is the difference of just few weeks back. I just remember, I share with you how we all like to worship. Now this person, this superstar, Esther years, he was such a superstar. Many of you were not born maybe. Ladies would be, when his car is to pass, there were young girls who would be running after. They will take the dust from the tire and apply. Many of them were married to his photograph. They would write letter, blood. Never before in the history there was such a superstar. No, such a craze. But then, of course, Everything goes up, it comes down, and he didn't know, he didn't have any knowledge. When something inauspicious started happening, he could have made it auspicious if he knew knowledge, but he didn't have. So he was just trying, fighting to bring it back his fame. But slow and slow and slow, he went down, down, down. It was like a slow suicide. And that time, one of his fan, she said, I want to serve you. She came from another foreign country. She was a wealthy lady. So that means she didn't wanted anything. She just wanted to serve him because she was his fan. She came and stayed for the last years of his life when his family members had all deserted him. She served him. She was with him. She used to take care of his health. What was the result? She was so humiliated. She was so disappointed. She is so frustrated. And now she is also asking, I should be given. I did so much. Because you were worshipping the wrong hero. It's a very clear cut. He was not the real hero. But same thing, Prabhupada's disciples. Prabhupada was not some hero, one sense, an old man. But they were worshipping him, they were serving him. Even after he left, still in their heart that love is there. After 40 years. And with that love, they are transforming people who come in contact with them. See the glory of, whom you worship. See the difference. This is Prabhupada, real superstar. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhu.